In this video, you're going to build the skeleton and decoration of your app. So this means that you're going to be building the front page showing the content of a specific folder. So let's go ahead and build this page. So you're going to use Bootstrap 4 to build the page. So if you go to getbootstrap.com, then click on Get Started and then scroll down, you'll find the templates right there. So just bear in mind that we're using version 4.1. Okay, so let's copy the templates. Now let's create a file inside our new projects folder and call it index.html. Now let's create another file, style.css, where we're going to put some styling. So inside index.html, let's copy our template and then make a few changes. So for the title, I'm going to just write page title for now. And then later on, using JavaScript, you can change this page title for each folder. So basically, when you go to a folder, the title of the page is going to match the name of the folder. Okay. All right. So now we're going to need a few things inside our page. So let's start with this element. So that's called a breadcrumb, and you can build it easily using Bootstrap. So if you go to the Bootstrap page and then search breadcrumb in the components, then here it is. So you just need to copy the code from there. So let's copy this one and let's place it right there. Now let's use the live preview to see the results. So here is our breadcrumb. We just need to add some styling to it, some background color, and style the links. So let's go ahead and do this. So to make things clear, I'm going to split the screen to 2 halves, like that. So we're not going to need the terminal for now, so we can hide it. All right, so let's go to our style.css file and add some styling. Before doing that, let's link this file to the CSS file by adding a link element. Okay. So in the styling, we're going to start here with the breadcrumb. And the first thing we're going to be styling is the breadcrumb class. Like that. Okay. So let's add a background color. So let's pick the color from the final page. And we want this color. Okay, perfect. Also, we can see that the border is rounded right there. So let's delete that by setting the border radius to 0. Okay, perfect. Now let's style the links. So we want this color. So to save time, I'm going to stop using the color picker and use the color straight away. So I'm going to set it to AEBD38. Okay. Now, when I hover on the link, it still shows the old color. So I just need to style that as well. So A hover And now here we go. It works. Now, if you check the breadcrumb element, when the page becomes scrollable, you can see that it stays fixed at the top, just like the footer. So we're going to need to add that to our CSS. By the way, this element is inside the nav element, so you can style the nav instead. So let's add that at the top. So we will just set the position to fixed, and we will set the top property to 0, so that it stays fixed at the top. Now you can see that the width has changed. You just need to set that to 100%. Okay. So that's the styling for the breadcrumb. Now we need to move to the next element, which is the table that you see there. Okay, so let's go back to the Bootstrap website and get a table element to save time. So I'm going to copy this one. Okay. Now, just to avoid changing tabs all the time, I'm going to open this in the same browser here. Okay. All right, so we're going to need to style our table. So let's go back to the style.css file. And start styling our table. So let's select the table using the HTML tag. And first of all, let's add the color. You can see that we've got blue text inside the table. So the color we're using there is this one. Okay, perfect. Now let's add some margin top and bottom to our table. So I'm going to go for 100 pixels. And for the left and right margins, let's go for 10 for now. Okay. Now, if you compare with the final page, you can see that we still have some margin there. And that's because the table is placed inside a container div. So let's go ahead and do this. So we'll place our table inside a div of class container. So the container class in Bootstrap will add the margins or the extra margins for us. Okay, so this looks better. So let's go back to our CSS file and add some more styling. So now, if we look at the table head, we can see some background color there, and the color is set to white. So let's go ahead and do this. So in our HTML, we've got the table head right there. So it doesn't have any class. So let's just use the HTML tag. So the background color is actually the same as the text color inside the table. And the text color is white. Okay, perfect. Now, if you hover on the table head in the final website, you'll see that the cursor becomes a pointer. So to do this, we're going to set the cursor property to pointer. All right, now I'm going to pause the video and fill our table with some dummy data, and then we'll see afterwards how to add these icons. So icons for folders and icons for files. All right, now we've got some dummy data inside the table. Now you will notice that the name in the final table is actually a link, which will take us somewhere if we click on it. So let's change the text that we placed inside these cells to a link. So I'm going to place that text inside an anchor tag like that. And let's set the href to something like this for now. And let's do the same thing for this one. All right, now we need to add these icons. So we need an icon for the folder and another one for files. So there are plenty of ways to get icons. I'm going to use a website called ionicons.com. So the usage is pretty straightforward. So if you click on usage and then scroll down, all you need to do is install the script at the end of the body tag. I'm going to place it right there. And then to use an icon, you copy this HTML code and then you replace the name with the name of the icon. So let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to place one right there before folder and another one right there before the name of the file. So if I save and check, so at the moment it's a heart. So let's look for folder. So this one. So the name is folder. And let's look for file. So this one there, it says documents. Okay, so if I refresh, here we go. Now let's style our icons and make them bigger and also change their color. So let's go back to the CSS file. So you're going to select the icon using its HTML tag. So let's change the font size to 16 pixels, for example. Or 24. Okay, that's better. And the color is actually the same color we've got there. Okay, perfect. All right, now we want to make our table scrollable like that, and we want to limit the height of the table. So the table is scrollable all the time, okay? Even if you've got only a few items or elements inside your folder, you can always see this scroll bar. So let's go ahead and do this. So we'll need to select the table body, which is that element. And we're going to set its height first to a fixed height. So I'm going to go for 300 pixels. Okay. And also I'm going to set the overflow Y to scroll, so that it becomes scrollable. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add more content to the body of the table just to see what happens. Okay, we can still see all the contents there. So let's go back to our CSS file and add something else. So you will need here a display property, which you will set to block. So if you do this, then the table body is going to be treated as a block element inside your table. And now we've got a problem. The table head is not aligned anymore with the table body. So to fix this, you can select the table head as well as the table rows. Okay. Or just select the table rows inside the table body, like that. Okay. And then you can set the display to table, like this. So now it looks better, but it's still not aligned. So what you need to do, you need to add a table layout option or attribute that you set to fixed. And then you add width and you set it to 100%. Okay, now you can see that the table head and the table body are aligned. Now we are missing only the footer. So to get the footer, I'm going to go back to the Bootstrap website and then look for footer. And then inside components, I'm going to click on sticky footer. So if you check that one, you can see the footer right there. So if you inspect elements, you can just select the whole footer like this, copy it, and then use it inside your HTML code. And I'm just going to change this text to this one and change this using an HTML entity, which is ampersand copy. Now to style the footer, you just go back to the same page and you look at the styling. Okay, so this is how our footer looks like. So I'm going to change the background color to that one. Or instead, it's actually the same background color as the breadcrumb. And here we go. All right, in the next video, you're going to go through the logic of the app, and then you're going to be ready to build your code structure.